Hey guys, this is a quick thank you to Alex from Retrograde Collectables. He runs a PGX convention where they bring a bunch of arcade games in for people to play. He got me some pieces from my Atari 600, get it running, and it was really simple, really quick and fast, and he knows this stuff, and he's a really nice guy. I recommend going down to Retrograde Collectables, even if you're not interested in video games, because video games teach your child, teach you how to think better. You get rapid solving problem skills because you have to use reflex oriented play in reaction to what you see. So you get hand-eye coordination, but you also build strategically logical circuits in your brain. Like your brain has like neuron connections, and you build these small logic circuits in your brain. I'm a software engineer, and Carnegie Mellon has a psychological domain related to how like computers interrelated with the brain. It pushed psychology forward a lot. But anyway, if you train really early at video games, like action-oriented video games, and you figure ways to like solve puzzles really fast, those general principles can be applied to lots of stuff. You know, like staying in the center. Say, for instance, is good for chess. It's good that it means you can have like all more places to look out for your angles. So once you're in your center, you know how to look around your area. You know, you see what's coming at you. Then when you see, well, that's coming at me with that angle, I should be like, I have to be less concerned because I'm traveling the left direction. Since like I'm traveling the left direction, I don't have to worry about what's going to my right because I'm making distance on it, and so forth and so on. It sounds absurd, but even like text adventure games like this is really absurd. Text adventure games like Angband, where you just like move one point at a time and learn about like wall flanking and how like you can like you get like less flanks when you're in a doorway. Like I actually was in a bar fight one time. I didn't even start the bar fight. I just got punched by the bouncer, and reflexively swung around, punched him in the face. He threw me in a dartboard, so I had dartboard face. And then I swung around, and punched him really hard. Like I mean, I didn't even like think about it. It's just something that happened really fast. And I don't go out looking for fights. I didn't think I deserved anything to get beat up by. But as soon as I punched him, I saw like 1,000 hands come at me, and I reflexively jumped in the door. It's basically a roguelike Angband, like NetHack, that type of thing. It's kind of saved my butt there because that was a mafia bar. I found out later. Um, all these little things, like video games, all these little things you learn in video games, applicable in real life. Books are give you whimsy. You'll read about like fantastical descriptions of different places and different cultures, and books are great. Television is good to watch stuff and learn special effects and get impressed. Like even movies. Like that's Godzilla, he's crushing stuff. Oh, well, that's actually just a man in a suit. Kids learn with that stuff. But like when it comes to video games, you get all the stuff of different cultures. You get all the stuff of being impressed by what you're looking at, but you're in the game. You're making the choices, and you're making your choices better. And makes you when you start making better choices in the video games, helps you make better life choices. And so anyway, I'm just giving a shout out to Alex from Retrograde Arcade. Retrograde video game, and he sponsors helps with the arcade every year. Down PGX. I met him like just for a couple minutes, and he seemed like he was a really great guy. He was busy, but he treated me really well. So I need to give the Alex a shout out. And like I want to do one more time, I'll give a shout out to the arcade in general. Like since Alex helps with the arcades. There was no hate in arcades compared to what there is online, right? I mean this literally. I'm not saying hate was invented in 2000, with cancel culture. In 1998, cancel culture. It was not. We just have hate intensified online because when you don't see the person, you think it seems like it's funny to insult them, right? Then you go over the line and you insult them really hard. They insult you really hard. Then everybody thinks it's funny just to hurt each other's feelings. That's what it is. Ever since like X-Play on the Super Nintendo with Mortal Kombat. Everybody thinks insulting people, you stupid noob. You get good noob, or like if you're really good, you like go touch dirt. Go walk and look at go see if birds exist. So if you're too good for them, they'll insult you. If you're too bad, they'll insult you too. So this rage game culture is online. It's terrible. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this. I want to promote love, but in the arcade. Contrasting with what you see People are like, oh, people didn't fight. People didn't get messed with each other in arcade because they were afraid of each other. Everybody dressed up like punks, had some chains around them, and like it was nothing to mess around with. You know, everybody thinks like final fight every day you walk into like a arcade. It was not. There's kids and stuff. You know. Yes, sir. We had skateboard occasionally. Oh no, that's not threatening. You know. Well, the reason it wasn't fights is you see the whites of their eyes, man. They're humanity, man. We're all humanity. You know. Unfortunately, you can't see the whites of my eyes. I could get my webcam hooked up. But so I'm going to the gym. I'll get my webcam hooked up later. But like, you know what I'm saying is like, you make friends with people, man. You don't want to like hurt people's feelings when you make friends with them. And humanity is there to make friends with people. You know, it's the reverse of isolation. I mean, how many people have lost family members or friends because they end up saying, oh, you know, the race riots are cool, you know, or this mask mandate, you know, get your vax, you know, don't. It's like totalitarianism. They want you isolated, right? Because they know when you're isolated, the human brain works like a kind of like momentum, right? You like hanging out with people a lot. You want to keep hanging out with people. If you're not used to hanging out with people, you think hanging out with people is weird, right? You know. So what happens when people lose their social skills, you know, they isolate, right? So we already said that there's more hate online than ever. Like I'll log on video games online. People say 5 hateful things within a minute, and everybody's like, you know, people are torqued out. There's no reason for them to even spark the hate. But they just start hating right off the bat. People hate back, and you blah 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 blah. And it's like almost like a competition to see who can say like the worst thing. You know, and a lot of that's fueled by little kids who think that's funny, you know, trash talking and everything. But the idea is like, I can see 5 hateful things in a minute, and that's not absurd. That happens. That's about average, you know, sometimes. But I spent 10,000 hours in the arcade from 1980 to 1995 and saw not one. I asked other people, hey, the same experience. We used to be hardcore gamers before it was hardcore gaming because we saw all the competitions and stuff. We knew it was the future, and my buddy's like, no, I had the same amount of time, 10,000 hours between 80 and 95. We're not counting Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Television, Coleco, Atari. You know, we're not counting our home system, not Commodore 64. We're just counting PC. You know, we're just counting arcade, 10,000 hours. Not one hate incident at all in 10,000 hours. And in his 10,000 hours, that's 20,000 hours, zero hate. All right, because that's your in-person thing. We got to bring back the arcades, okay? That's their goal in life is, you know, promote socialization. If the totalitarian tyrants are pushing like isolationism and pandemic bioterrorism and crap, we want to be like having people hang out with each other again. You know, we want people to just be happy. You know. And making friends, you know, and you maybe go like do some parkour and a thing, you know, maybe do some skateboarding, ride some bikes and stuff, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe we could make some VR games, you know, out in public, you know. Get like a camera, get like a VR headset that has a camera, so you're like basically looking goggles, what you're looking at, and then impose the images on that, and you'd have like what I think they call it augmented reality now. But you can put that like if you had like markers in a football field, you can play like football with other people, like without other people, like you have 11 players on the opposing side, 10 players on your side. They're all AI, or you're playing Doom when you're actually running around away from enemies. So you can do that with VR. And like they're just saying we gotta get back out and bring the arcades back. None of this skee ball stuff. None of this like ticket stuff. It's like basically abusing gambling and kids. You know, just the good old style arcades. And we're gonna walk through what makes a good arcade game. We're gonna make when we do this series. We're gonna make through what makes a good Atari 2600 game. Right now you see how they score. That was the first time I played Atari 2600 like probably like 20 years. Right, it's not bad. 153,800 on what is it? Sequest. That's good. That's a good Pog Jam. I died like 4 times because one I had to get the water. There's no pause button on Atari. Another time I died because I was sitting on something when I came back from the water and had my cell phone, so I died twice to that. And then maybe I died another time because I was adjusting something for the cell phone, and then boom, that's 4 deaths. So anyway, I'm making excuses, you know, because there's an old saying, you see, you don't have to make excuses. You come prepared with excuses, right? But anyway, I'm gonna get to the gym. I'll come back. I'll be gaming and stuff. But this is this is basically a thank you. While I was made mention this before we get going on, I'll give you one little clue. I'll give you actually one little thing that you'll like in the video game caretaking that you probably never really paid attention to. Is the death of the score, the high score. When Nintendo came around, they still had a high score, right? But there's a lot of times we can get infinite lives, you know. Score was irrelevant then. You're like, well, why do I get score? And it died off because some games had it, some didn't. You didn't even notice the death of the high score. It's like reverse cooking the frog. So keep that in mind. I got to